When the children were little, we read all the time. Hours and hours, the same stories over and over again. We had all the best books. Smart, clever books with beautiful illustrations. Award-winning books, important books. I was teaching them to read what I loved to read. I was raising the preschool literati. And then my mother-in-law, same mother-in-law who I just mentioned, by the way, then my mother-in-law sent a book that was not part of the literary canon of Laura. The whole plot of Winchell Cuts the Cheese is right there in the title. A pig farts in a barnyard and then denies it. That's the whole story. There is a subgenre of children's literature called flatulence fiction. You've got your Gatsby Pass, your Sir Farts a Lot, your Walter the Farting Dog. But farts or no farts, I am a stickler for an actual story. And nothing happens when Winchell cuts the cheese. Half the text is just the letter P with a bunch of F's after it. There are no surprises. You know what would surprise me? A pig not farting. That would surprise me. This book made me inexplicably, irrationally angry. I hated Winchell Cuts the Cheese. The children loved Winchell Cuts the Cheese. Mom, will you read to us? Sure. How about Clever Beatrice? It's an empowering folktale about a young girl who defeats a giant using only her wits. No, we want the one with the pig. Oh, Olivia? Perfect. It's by a staff artist at the New Yorker. That fits my image as cultured yet accessible. In fact, how about if I just read you the New Yorker? No, we want Winchell. And don't forget the fart noises this time. Over and over and over. I couldn't stand it. One day, I just snapped. I threw the book away. No one saw me do it. I brought it to the alley and I waved the truck. I didn't even follow the rules for throwing your kids' stuff away. Hide it. See if anyone looks for it. If not, you wait 21 days. Then if no one mentions it, you can head to Goodwill. This also works if your spouse has old concert t-shirts by the way. All this happened before everyone put up those little free libraries. If it was now, I could have just stuck it in with all the sequels to Ender's Game and the big stack of Watchtower tracts. This happened in the dark days when you couldn't just anonymously dump your unwanted literature or religious materials on your neighbors. So Winchell went to the trash. Later that night, the children came looking for it. I suggested every Caldecott honor book on the shelf, but all they wanted was Winchell. And then I realized that they had loved the story, and even if it wasn't one I would choose, wasn't the important thing reading together? Had I lost sight of what was truly important? When my daughter said, "Mama, do you know where Winchell is?" I looked in her sad little face and I said, "No, and if anyone else ever put anything away around here, you'd probably be able to find it." It was a teachable moment, and I didn't want to let that pass. I may be a censor and a snob, but I'm also a parent. I had a problem, though, because pretty soon their dad was looking for the book, too. And I couldn't tell him he was wasting his time because we had agreed that I wouldn't throw away things his mother sent anymore. Had been a talking Sesame Street phone, and when Lee had carried out the trash, a voice seemed to call to him from the bottom of the bag. Only Only it wasn't Elmo saying, "Thanks for calling." It was his own mother's voice saying, "Why are you letting your shiksa wife come between me and my grandchildren?" And now he was tearing up the house looking for this damned farting pig book that I knew he was never going to find. Plus now I was pretending to look for the book too, which is the most inane thing I have ever done. So it was really painful, and it left a gaping hole in my pride. I knew what I had to do. I snuck off to order another copy of Winchell Cuts the Cheese, sending the message to publishers that this is what we need more of in children's literature. One-joke narratives illustrated in Adobe. When Winchell arrived a few days later, I hid it under the cover of another book on the shelf. I couldn't wait to see the look on their faces when I pulled out the prodigal pig. I was going to say, "See, I'm the only one around here who knows how to properly look for anything." But it turned out the children had moved on to some other book. They didn't care about Winchell anymore. But even that didn't feel great, because I had wasted $15. If there's a lesson in all this, and there is clearly not, maybe it's something about how kids are going to love what and who they want to love, and it might not have anything to do with what we share with them. But I think the bigger takeaway is this: kids love farts. And no matter how hard you might try to fight it, sometimes you've got to give in and cut the cheese.